Right. People don't understand how hard it is to play quarterback, and it's all your lower body. You got to drive the ball down the field. This whole conversation is about getting the ball down the field. That's how you win. You can't think and duck. Look, Andy Reid has a nice offense in Philadelphia, in Kansas City, and they're copying it in Philadelphia. But when you get in the playoffs and you have 20 third downs, that's hard. You can't run Woody Hayes' offense in pro football. You can't get 3 yards in a cloud of dust, whether you're 3 passes or 3 runs. You've got to make explosive plays. And if you don't have it in your offense, it's difficult.
Colts offensive struggles. To me, it always starts up front, but they also don't have a running game. What do you see? What do the NFL guys think?
I think the Colts have really done a look. Quarterbacks are like baseball stadiums. You've got to design your team around them. You talked about luck. At the 13-year thing, to get your kids through school would be the greatest accomplishment because we all move a lot. But when you have Andrew Luck, and you have to sit in your office and say, look, I'm going to resist the temptation to get Andrew Luck toys to play with. I'm going to get Andrew Luck pillars of strength up front. I'm going to build the greatest offensive and defensive line that could play outdoors and indoors. And I don't think Ryan Grigson and the Indianapolis Colts have done at least a remote chance of that. I mean, they have 6 players over 30 years old on defense. They're bad and old on defense, not a good combination. And offensively, they can't ever get control of the line of scrimmage. So when you go on the road and you can't control the line of scrimmage, it becomes a problem. And I think Andrew Luck's paying for that. And we're all dumping on Andrew Luck, just like we're dumping on Eli Manning because Eli Manning's not throwing the ball. How did he miss that throw? He missed that throw because he's getting the dog beat out of him, and he's getting hit on every single play. You go play quarterback, and you get hit all the time.
Well, this is interesting because the Red Sox, because of their unique stadium, or the Cubs, have built teams for their stadium. Similarly, Bill Polian told me years ago, you know Bill, right? Bill said, listen, when we drafted Peyton Manning, our first thought was, we're going to be in the lead a lot, so I can never... I have to have pass rushers. Have to. And he goes, by the way, we felt, I always thought was fascinating. We wanted a little smaller linebacker because they were going to be in pass coverage.
Right.
He goes, so we figured we would be leading in 75% of games in the second half.
Right.
And we're playing indoors. The weather's not a factor. So we need smaller, fast linebackers.
Right.
Maybe a thumper on the back end at safety. And we have to have pass rushers.
Right.
Because people are going to be playing catch-up. So to your point is, they're not building the team for the star they have.
No, they think because they get Dorsett or they draft another receiver in the first round or Moncrief in the third. Those are nice things, but they don't help you control the line of scrimmage. If you give Andrew Luck the Dallas Cowboy line, imagine how good he would be. He would be unbelievable. He could go up the line. He could run everything. You could control the game. He would be winning and be in the Final Four every single year. But unfortunately, they don't have, well, fortunately for a lot of teams, I think most teams in the NFL are looking at the Colts and saying, don't let them change what they do philosophically, personnel-wise, because that's what keeps us in the game.
All right, Chip Kelly's decision to start Colin Kaepernick, what do you make of it?
I think he had no other choice, and I think that the decision to release it is probably the right thing to do because, like he said, I mean, everybody's going to know it. I think the key for Colin to get back to where he was is he's going to have to run the ball a little bit. He's going to have to show that he can run a little bit because he's not going to be accurate down the field. We know this. And I think what you saw is from the time he was really good as a starter to when he kind of fell off, he stopped running the ball, and his average per attempt was down. I think he's going to have to go up to Buffalo and run the ball and make people defend that. Now, the 49ers, they run their offense, they do what they do. And it worked at Oregon, and it works sometimes at Philly. But it's an offense that requires you to have superior talent. The 49ers don't have superior talent, and that's going to be a problem.
Before we go to the games of the week, because you break down the games for us, we have our Blazing 5 in 30 minutes. A franchise that has always been fascinating to me, and it generally lies with ownership. Miami Dolphins are a mess. They're like the Browns with better weather. Like, where does the problem lie?
Well, I think 2 things. I think you were talking about building a stadium. I think when you're a port city, okay,
Port City,
San Diego, Miami, if you're on that, you have to have a disciplinarian and a tough team because there's a lot to do in Miami and there's a lot of trouble to get into.
By the way, you guys that made fun of me yesterday, this goes to my theory that in a good economy, all the college football powers on beaches are struggling.
Right. poorly designed. There's no toughness. Stephen Ross is sitting there, and he changes between Joe Philbin. He needed a disciplinarian. He didn't need more ideas on plays. I'm not beating up on Adam Gase. I think Adam Gase, in time, can develop. But this job is way big. And I think you need to have somebody who's going to go in there and demand and be demanding on their players, and they don't have that right now.
So Jeff Fisher could end up being pretty